Right guys, right, so by jumping into the deep end, what I mean basically is I had no experience at all of volunteering when I started. Okay, so I was very naive and I didn't know what to expect. So basically I was like thrown into the deep end and it was either sink or swim situation. Obviously I swam or I won't be here right now. So anyway, as Rosemary said, I worked on the Olympic torch relay. And this is me on the bus. That's me there. So I'll talk more about my role as we go on. So basically, this is where the torch relay went, and each of these little like mini torches represents where an evening celebration site was. So basically, we crisscrossed our way all over Great Britain, sort of like over here, across to Ireland, up to Scotland, back down, and then we finished in London. So basically, the London 2012 Torch Relay was really basically just like it will be in Russia as well. It was aimed to shine a light on the UK, so it was connecting people and places, and on our journey to becoming an Olympic nation. So you've got to think that the Games was in London, but for everybody else in the country, the Torch Relay was effectively their Games, because the Olympic flame is the Olympics, if you know what I'm saying. Like, as I used to say, no flame, no game, if you know what I mean. Because without that flame, you know, there ain't going to be a Games, because that's what opens the Olympic Games, okay? So the relay, the London 2012 relay had 4 guiding principles. So it was a relay for everybody, so it was all inclusive. It focused on youth, so a lot of the torchbearers were quite young, because it was all about inspiring a generation. And it was also, like it sits here, shining a light on the next generation and to those who inspire them. So you could have been, I don't know, 12 years old maybe, stood at the side of the road with your mum and dad, and then the next day you see the Olympic flame go past, and that could inspire that young child to volunteer, could inspire them to get into sport, or could just inspire them to help someone else out. So it was all about really just inspiring each other, really. And it was a sustainable relay, that's what we tried to aim at, trying to be environmentally friendly. And it was a national relay, however it did have a global reach, because obviously it was broadcasted worldwide, and it was really just to sort of celebrate the UK's multicultural and diverse population and show off like our torchbearers and our communities, really. So the whole part of the Olympic torch relay was really to travel within 95% of the population, so everyone really had a chance to see the flame and be a part of the Olympic Games. We also went on some island visits, as you can see there, and it did last for 70 days. So obviously I was on the road for 70 days, I never got to go home, I didn't get to see my family, anything like that, but trust me, I didn't really miss them. So what I'd say is, for the impact of the volunteers would be, I think the main thing you have to have as a volunteer, the main thing is enthusiasm. You know, you have to, as you saw in them videos earlier, the London Games makers, they were very enthusiastic. So you have to be always smiling, enjoying yourself. You know, you've got to create the perfect customer experience, because you are the face of the Games, effectively. So people come over to you for directions, they come over to you for advice. They may come over to you because they're lost or they need something, and obviously you have to be smiling, you're the face of the Games, you're their first point of contact in those Games. So you have to be very enthusiastic. And as I put here as well, it's long hours and you're constantly dealing with a lot of pressure. So you've got to be able to, you know, get up really early. The earliest I got up was 2 p.m, meeting my torchbearers at, you know, 2 a.m, sorry. Yeah, that's a line. Earliest I got up was 2 a.m. Meeting my torchbearers at 4:30 a.m. So, you know, you may be tired, you may feel a bit weak, but you've always got to keep your focus and stay strong, really. And you've always got to go above and beyond your job role, because you never know where it might lead. So, for example, with me is I used to get 1 day off a week, but I never used to take the day off, really. I'd always go try and volunteer somewhere else. So, on the torch relay, I was like the shuttle host, as I'll explain a little bit more about that in a bit. But there was other areas, other avenues I helped out in, and it's all about networking, because as some of the presentations have already said, you know, it's quite hard and difficult to get a job these days. So the more things that you do, the more experiences you have, it's going to make you more employable. Okay, so just always try and go above and beyond your job role. So, and I've got down here a quote, experiences make the individual more employable. So basically, try and do as much as you can. And coming back to my job role, this is me here with the torch, doing my torchbearer briefing to the torchbearers. So these are the torchbearers here. And basically my briefing would be just delivering clear, precise instructions of what their day is going to entail. So, as we said earlier, like volunteering provides the individual with experience to gain confidence, to get them into employment. So the skills that I've learned, basically, if I didn't have done the Olympic torch relay, I don't think I'd really be stood here right now, that confident, being able to deliver, because it just teaches you a lot of skills. And like I say, the more you can do, the more skills you'll learn. So it has left a lasting legacy to increase employment and opportunities for not only volunteers but for future generations. It's also a personal investment. You've got to think about that. So volunteering, you don't get paid, right? And that can put a lot of people off. But you've got to think of it as an investment. So for me, it was my whole summer. I didn't earn a penny all summer. But you've got to think that it's an investment into your future. Also volunteering gives you an opportunity to get real hands-on work experience. So you could be doing jobs that some people could be getting paid for. However, you're getting the experience because you're devoting your own free time. And it does open the door to paid employment for students. So it's all about having practical career guidance. So it does make you more employable if you have volunteered because you have that experience. And it also allows you to build up networks. And so you get to know other professionals. So for example, I've always wanted to be a PE teacher, but when I was on the torch relay, I thought about, I might want to one day get involved in major sporting events. So obviously I was speaking to a lot of people who have got over 10 years experience in sporting events and events management, things like that. So these people I still stay in contact with now, and they let me know what they're doing. And it is really, in this world, it's all about who you know and not what you know. So the more people you know, the more chance you've got of getting that dream job, really. So the feelings that you will feel as a volunteer, and I felt these, is you're very nervous. You'll be very nervous until you get into the swing of things, until you get used to things. You're going to be extremely nervous. You're going to be very anxious as well, but you're also going to be extremely excited. I remember on the first day when I was working, the torch was at Land's End, and I didn't sleep that night. I was just so nervous, but I was also excited, and it was just nerve-wracking because I was the face of the games. These people were counting on me to deliver to them, and I didn't have a clue really what we're doing, to be honest. I'm going to be honest, you learn on your feet. It's like, as much training as you will receive, it's totally different when it's the real thing, And I remember the first day, as soon as I finished, I was so relieved and happy that everything went well. But you've just got to think that you may want to throw the towel in, you may want to quit on your first day, but just keep going. That's advice I give to you as well, and it does make you very proud and extremely proud to have achieved what we did. Because I remember on the last day when, because we took the flame, you've got to imagine this, we took the flame for 70 days, we even ate our dinner with it on the tables, okay? We looked after it, we took it everywhere, and when it lit the cauldron at the end, everyone was crying their eyes out. Because we were all pretty sad, really, because it was, the end of our journey. So my reflection would be is, as you guys will gather when you guys volunteer, so through working day after day, you understand your role a little bit more. So I understood my role a little bit more within the Olympic torch relay, and also understood how I was the face of the games and how it was going to impact the nation and the world. So the Olympic torch relay was televised all the time, so you were always on TV, so you had to obviously do things properly. You couldn't be mucking about or messing around. You had to be serious, you had to be a professional. So the experiences developed me professionally and personally. So personally, some of the experiences that I had and I learned is made me a better person today, really, and professionally it's really helped me out with my final year at university because everything was on time. The relay waited for nobody. If you were late, that's it, you got left behind and you had to find your own way. It was very structured, very organised, extremely well planned, and that's I've taken that away from my experience. So, you know, I'm a lot better professionally now. And you've also got to, when you're working, you've also got to be able to reflect on your experiences. So you could even have a notepad on you, and every night you could come back and write down the good things that have gone well, and you could also write down the bad things. And then you could think, how am I going to improve? How am I going to make people's experience better? And you will learn, like, an abundance of knowledge from other people. Because a lot of people that you will be volunteering with will have volunteered on other games or will have other experience in other areas. So you will all have strengths, but you will always have weaknesses as well. If you can talk to people who have strengths where you have weaknesses, then you can obviously come to some sort of solution. Next slide. So in conclusion, really, I'd say it was inspirational. It was an experience of a lifetime. It helped me, really, as cheesy as it sounds, like discover myself and realise what I want to achieve in life. And for me, like, it changed my whole perspective, like I've said, and it gave me a lot more confidence and self-belief in my own ability. And this is some of the opportunities, like I was saying, about going above and beyond your role is, so on here is, I was at the, this was at the dress rehearsal for the opening ceremony of the Olympics, but I also got the opportunity to go to the opening ceremony for the Paralympics. And I only got to do that was because we ran this scheme helping, like, getting children involved. What was it called again? I can't remember. Children's Promise. Yeah, the Children's Promise. That was it, Children's Promise. And I obviously, if I finished early, I'd go help out with the Children's Promise. And all it was really was looking after some children and making sure they had a really good experience with the Olympic torch and the Olympic flame. And because I did that, I obviously got to go to the opening ceremony, which was absolutely fantastic. So, like I say, always try and go above and beyond your role. So, just to sum it up, really, it's like you all will be a part of something absolutely phenomenal and or inspiring. Tongue-tied there, and it will impact on the whole of Russia, and not just Russia, but the rest of the world. And it really is difficult to digest. Like, for me, it sank in about 2 weeks after I'd finished. It was just incredible, like what we did, what we achieved, and you know, I was living out of a bag, just a small bag, for 70 days in a new hotel every night. So much traveling, and you know, you will mature through your experiences, and you will develop your professional practice a lot more. And like, especially for you guys, you are students as well. It's like you all will be getting a degree, and you know, especially in England, like a degree is not, you know, a degree is not effectively like a passport for travel. A degree is just like an experience as well. You need to have your right to a job. You need to have experience as well to build upon your like degree. So you guys, when you go to apply for jobs, if you can say, well, I worked in Sochi 2014, you know, and I've got this degree as well, people will want to employ you because of your experiences. And has anyone got any questions? Anything? Yep.
Well, thank you very much. It was really interesting, and I wanted to ask you, if it was your first experience working as a volunteer, do you plan to do this anytime in the future, maybe?
Have you got any jobs? I'd love to volunteer again. Yeah, it's great because you get to give back. You get to give something back. So I think if I was going to volunteer again, I'd probably community sport. So obviously there's not that many opportunities about for major sporting events, because you've got to understand that I was extremely lucky to work on London 2012, just like you guys are extremely lucky to work on Sochi. You've got to understand that as well. So because of the experiences I had through volunteering, I'm, you know, very proud to say that I was a volunteer, and you know, I'll always support people who do volunteer, because you are giving up your own time and your own money, because you don't get paid, you know, and it does cost you quite a bit as well. Anyone else? Cheers. I could show them just a quick video. Is that alright? Do you know where it is? It's that one that's, you know which one, don't you? So this is just like a recording of what I used to do, just to give you a little bit of an idea of the enthusiasm. Here we go. So it's like, in the video, it's a lot of interaction with the torchbearers. So you've got to be, like, you will be in the street, you've got to interact with the people, you know, you've got to, you know, smile, laugh and crack jokes. Here we go. Oh. There we are. That's it, that's it. It'll focus in, there we are. Alright, so that was just basically just having fun really and enjoy yourself really, so thanks very much.